Weekend. Here we are, Friday. Glad you're here. Welcome to Win the Day podcast. Hope yesterday was awesome. Hope tomorrow's even better. Let's talk about how to win today. And today's an important day because it's the Friday before a long weekend, right? Mm-hmm. And I know there's going to be a massive urge to take today off and make it a longer weekend. Don't do it. Don't do it, or at least don't do it until you achieve a goal that you set up so you can go into the weekend ready for Tuesday. But what I really want to talk about is change. We're going to talk about 7 things related to change. Because here's the thing. If your business or your personal life, anything for that matter, isn't at 100% rolling in a great way, it is time for a change. You need to change something. Not everything. I don't know, maybe everything. But you need to make a change, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Mm-hmm. So think on that for a minute. I did it recently with food. I've been eating a lot of Doritos, chips, bread, all this stuff that is made by these corporations or whatever. And there's a lot of bad stuff in your stuff. The food itself from a category probably isn't great, but even if you try to eat healthy, I am finding that even the healthy foods have been infected with profit, which is, I'm a capitalist. I like it. But R.J. Reynolds cigarette company, tobacco company bought Nabisco. Oreos don't have the best stuff in them. They didn't when they were just bad for you. Now they're dangerous. So all that stuff. But at any rate, I'm not trying to talk into better food or different food, but I found myself making my own food or cooking more often so I don't have to deal with, God, I used to eat sandwiches I'd go to Whole Foods and I'd buy like ham in one of those baggy thingies that I thought they were slicing there. Then you look at the ingredients, it's like there's 700 ingredients. It should be ham, maybe some salt, right? Yeah. But it's not. There's stuff in there. I'm like, what? So I stopped. Now I'm cooking all my own stuff. I made a change. I didn't want to do those chemicals, so I made a change. So let's talk about these 7 things you're going to do to change. If you're not happy where you're at or what you're doing or whatever, and you want to make a change, here's how you're going to do it. First thing I wrote down here is, if I could change something, as an ask to yourself, if I could change something, what would I change? Oh my God, I'd change everything. No. You're not going to change everything, right? But there are some things. If it could be better, what does better look like? What would I change to make this thing better? Think on it, right? Think on it. You just and write it down. Write down 10 things and then study those 10 things. And you'll come up with 2 or 3, and then study those 2 or 3, and you'll come up with the 1. But ask yourself, number 1, what change would I change? Or what thing would I change if I could, right? Give that some thought. And then here's the next thing that rolls into it. Why? Be sure about what you're doing. Well, just cause, I got to change. This is not change for change's sake. No. There's a reason, because they're putting shit in food. Okay. Whatever. Make sure the why is there. It may be as small as just cause.
And sometimes it helps just to, what's the cost of not changing?
Okay. Let's keep going. How about number 3? What is the benefit of change? Okay. Let's say I do make this change. What's the upside? What's this thing going to look like? Because here, and then the sister that goes with it is, what is the downside? Right. Let's make sure the upside is worth the downside. Okay. A lot of people do big risks for small rewards. Careful with that. Be very, very careful. You got to make sure that the risk is worth the reward, that the upside is higher than the downside is low. A lot of people get that wrong, right? They take a big leap for a small win, and that's a scary business. Don't do it. Next, how? Okay, so you got to make a change. You have some idea what it is you're going to do, why you're going to do it, what the upsides are, what the downside, what the risk is. How are you actually going to do it? What are the steps? You got to think it through. I mean, I want to change. All right, I'm going to change. I'm going to be a gazillionaire. All right, what are the steps? What are we doing here, right? I'm going to lose 8,000 pounds. Cool. What are the steps? What are we doing here, right? this is what it comes down to. So I want you to sit with all this stuff and write it down. Here are the steps. 1, 2, 3. Don't have 75 steps. All right. 1, 2, 3. How do I make that change? All right. The next one, you got to put some time frame on this. When am I going to make this change? I'm going to lose 800 pounds tomorrow, someday. Look up. Here we go. At some point in my life, I'm going to do something. It's going to be great. And then keep going here. Number 7, what's holding you back? Maybe there's a thing. Got to take a look around, right? And then finally, it's the doing. You got to start. Got to make the change. Okay. So here, let's just go through them really quick. I mean, it's simple. What would I change? Right. Not that simple. These are hard things, people. They're hard things. When you take them seriously, at least they're hard things. What would I change? Okay. Why? Right. You know, I'm talking about big things: divorce, marriage, your business, how you do your business. Not, you know, I'm going to start watching a different show on TV. All right. Well,
yeah.
You know, but the bigger the thing, right? What is the benefit? Make sure there's a benefit to it that's worth the angst you're going to go through. Because I've found that the changes in my life, or for most people, at least, it's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's gross. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. The downside and the upside, right? How are you going to do it? Make sure there's a plan. When are you going to start? Nothing wrong with right now. But don't go too soon. Don't be stupid about this. Have a plan before you start executing. Make sure you have an idea of what you're doing. What's holding you back? Make sure, live free or die. Well, the Constitution might be holding you back. That'd be a harder one, right? Who knows? And then starting. Okay. There you go. What do you think, Mark? Am I onto it or am I off?
No, I think that's important. And, there's 4 questions sometimes it's important to ask. And it's kind of a Cartesian quadrants, which is what will happen if I do, what will happen if I don't, what won't happen if I do, what won't happen if I don't. And it's running through those simple questions. What will happen if I do? What will happen if I don't? What won't happen if I do? What won't happen if I don't? If you get some clarity around that, then you begin to get some movement forward. And just recognize anytime you enter into change, and I'll never forget, 1989, professor walks into graduate school, the class, I'm in grad school, and he writes one word on the board, underlines it twice, and it's homeostasis. And he says, the governing principle of all systems, and you are a system, whether it's an organization or you yourself, and homeostasis means to remain unchanged. And he says,
which is cool if you're happy with what you're doing, right?
Yeah. He said, look, everything will try and hold itself to its state. But when change is necessary, embrace that everything's going to fight against it until you persist, and then everything will fight to maintain that new state. Yep. So you've got to be smart enough to know resistance is there until my why is strong enough to break through. And then what happens when the homeostatic maintainers are there to keep you in a healthier state? That's the beauty, and that's what discipline and success kicks in.
So, all right, I love it. A lot of people are going to say, because their ego gets in, oh, I don't need it. What would you change if you could change anything? Oh, I wouldn't change a thing. I hear it all the time. I wouldn't change a thing. Really? Genie pops up over here and says you can make 3 wishes. You're not wishing for anything? Really? That's your ego talking. Now I could say, you know what? Going back to my life, yeah, I wouldn't change anything. It was great. And that'd be generally true, but there's plenty of things I'd like to go back and change, right? Given the opportunity. Let me ask you this. Do you have enough money? There's very few people in this world, though I guess they can say, yeah, I do. But if you have enough money, that's because you don't have a big enough dream, if you ask me. You don't have a big enough thing, right? Gary put this into my head, right? If you have enough, if you're one of these people who say, you know what, I have enough, you're being selfish. Because if you have enough, but you still have capacity to do more, and then that extra stuff could go to help somebody who doesn't have the capacity and needs stuff. You're being selfish.
Everything in nature.
I was like, holy shit. What's that?
Everything in nature strains to grow to its fullest potential except for humans. A tree will not stop growing until it's reached its potential. But humans sit back by choice and go, yeah, no, I'm good with this.
Shannon, yeah, absolutely true. Shannon says, what something you can stop doing and no one would notice? What's something you should start doing that would result in a synergistic solution? Synergistic solution is a solution that starts a chain reaction of positive change. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Look at her coming with the big thoughts right off the bat. Cool. Yeah. So at any rate, there are changes. Are you healthy enough? Maybe. Could you be healthier? Maybe. Is that enough to make a change? Maybe. Is your business big enough? Maybe. Is how you do your business strong enough? Maybe. I know I'm making some changes and I need to make some changes in mine. That's hard. No, I need to. I don't want to, right? But I need to. So there's that battle going on. Destiny, what's up in your life? What do you need to make any changes?
Definitely, I do.
It's really hard to ask you that, but still.
Yeah, no. I think that's where I'm at right now in my business is realizing I've got to tweak some things. I've got to go back to the drawing board because what was working for me a couple months ago now is not working for me.
Interesting.
Things are changing.
Tell me about this. What was working and isn't now?
Well, I think we were in the height of the second quarter, the summertime. People were a lot more eager to do business. And now people are scared of the election. They're scared of the rates and things that are changing and they're slowing down. They're wanting to hold on to their money for the holidays. So it's now I need to have more conversations and talk to more people and work a little harder. But it's changing even the structure of my day and how I do my schedule to coincide with that.
I love it. Let's talk about this for a quick minute. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you're really on top of your game, you do a quarterly meeting with your group or your accountant or yourself, your husband, wife, sister, cousin, whatever. And you say, all right, look at our business, the first quarter, the first month, the first week. I don't know how many meetings you want, but and you look at it. What is different? Because stuff is always different. No matter what, you have ebbs and flows. And if you're dealing with that change and purposefully, that change can be good. If you're not, it may wash you away. Cool. Right. Andrew, tell me a story about what you're doing and how change impacts your life.
Well, I think that my takeaway from here is just that number two, your why has got to be the biggest part of the equation here, because I had a conversation with an agent just the other day. Like, why do you want to get into real estate? What's important about to you? Well, I want to make $100,000. Why is $100,000 important? There wasn't a connection there, so she's probably not going to do it. And
what a waste of time that would have been for her to go down a road if she didn't have the why figured out. Or maybe she finds it. Do you find it? Can you find it?
Oh, absolutely. I think you can definitely find it. But if you don't have that why, it's hard to connect that dot. You're not going to do what you need to do in order to reach your goal.
Yeah. So when you make a goal, that's kind of interesting. When you make a goal at the beginning of the day, the year, the month, whatever, when you make a goal, you're basically setting a change, right? Unless your goal is the same thing, but you're going to do it. But rarely does anybody write a goal? I hope to do the same this year as I did last year or something. That's very rare, I think. But that's a change agent. Goals are change agents.
Well, John, I would say this is if you know you're in an economic downturn and you say, my goal is to accomplish what I did last year, knowing.
Okay, but the economy's changing.
That's correct.
And you're adjusting to that.
Yeah.
So your goal your end goal may be the same, but how you deal with the new circumstances changed.
Yeah, goals don't change. I always tell my agents, goals are immovable objects.
But hold on. We don't, when we set a goal, do we just say, hey, I'm going to do the exact same thing, the exact same way and expect the exact same result?
No, our goals don't change. Our strategies have to change. And that's the key.
You can have a goal, but how do I achieve this goal? So I got to change something.
You know, the picture is you're playing football and you're having to run different plays, but the goal line doesn't say, all right, we'll make it 90 for you this run because we know you're trying extra hard. No.
But time might be running out. You might be behind, so you have to throw more than run.
Bingo.
So the strategy changes.
Yeah.
Cool. Say more, Andrew. You got more on that? Destiny, you got more?
Yeah, I would say it's important to track. That's one thing we learn in coaching and on the team is to track your progress. That's how you know when you need to change. If it's not working for you after a certain amount of time, then go back and pivot and try a different strategy. But you've got to track your progress. And if you're not tracking it, then what are you doing?
Right. You're tracking the change.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So good.
Yeah. The only other thing I'd add is that who's going to help you get to your goal?
There you go. Who are your people?
System.
Who's your tribe? Who do you got? Right. Do you have a coach? Do you have a team member? Is your spouse your number one person in the whole wide world, financially and otherwise, is your spouse who you get married to? Right? Be careful. Be careful or get lucky. Like my wife, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I'm the lucky one in that. So here, let's just go back. If you want to win the day, I would take a hard look at myself. And I do this from time to every time I look in this freaking mirror, I'm taking a hard look at myself and saying, there's some change happening right here. Right. But take a look at yourself. Are you happy with everything? Okay. Are you operating on 8, 9, or 10 on your business, your personal life, your spiritual, your health, what am I missing? Isn't there 5 or 6 of these things? Whatever they are, just kind of do a little. We're going into the fourth quarter, right? October, November, December, right around the corner.
Yeah.
Start thinking about that fourth quarter. If I have to change something, or if I'm going to change something, what would I change? Quarters are good, or a new month. New month is always a good time to start a new change. So spend some time this weekend. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy yourself, whatever. But also think a little bit about, if I change something, what would it be? Maybe it's a big thing, maybe it's a little thing. And then go through them, right? Go. What are they here? Here, first of all, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Are you good with that? I don't know. I need some change. What would I change? Why? Don't change for change's sake. Make it a reason. What is the benefit? All right. What's the downside? I'm going to risk something. What's the upside? And then what's my plan? Don't just say you're going to do something without a plan. You got to have a plan. Create a date so you can track it, right? Destiny? What's holding you back? You have the who's in your life, Andrew says. And then start.
Love it.
That's what you do.
Good stuff.
You guys got anything you want to add on that? This stuff could change your life, literally, if you go back and watch this and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Lean into it. It's just that simple. Is you get to determine what you do. And Jim Rohn used to say it, which is the same wind blows on us all. The difference of the destination is the set of the sail. And we've got to sometimes change the set of the sail depending on the wind. And you don't have to be a victim.
Yep. Don't let life happen to you. Make sure you're setting that sail.
Yeah.
Okay. So one last thing I want to do before we get out of here, long weekend and all, is make sure you put in the time and effort today to win the day, right? Which is what we're trying to do here. It's a long weekend coming. Don't make it too long by adding to it. Create a goal for the day that's doable, right? That you're not going to be so easy that you don't even have to try. Make sure you got that, but not so hard you're not going to be able to get it done and go home defeated. Create a goal, whatever that may be. 20 contacts, 10 contacts, 30 contacts. Follow up all your leads. I always like that on a Friday. Follow up on every single lead, old and new. That's usually a good one for me. And have my conversations, get myself set up, make sure I'm ready on Tuesday. Tuesday's going to come around fast. And if you didn't set up for it, Tuesday rolls into Wednesday and all of a sudden the week's half over. Okay. Let's win the day and win the weekend. Let's go have some fun with our friends and family. All right.
Super.
Guys, we'll see you later. See you on Monday.
Happy Labor Day.